Hey folks, I bet it's feeling like Christmas for you because we're about to get back into LiveView, but I'm going to snatch that present away. So we have to basically add one more thing to our game mechanic. All we're going to do is add a game over, and this is going to be false on the bottom because we haven't collided with anything and we've dropped. So the brick's still moving, still good. And basically here we're going to check a collision. But to check the collision, we're going to need access to this brick. So let's say new brick is equal to brick.new random, like that. And this is going to be a new brick like that. And this we're going to check bottom dot, and this is the new bottom, and the we want the points of the brick, which is new dot prepare, or let's say prepare new brick. Okay, nice. So this prepare is going to go ahead and move the brick to the new location, and then so at that point we're going to check the collision, which is perfect. So let's run our test. Okay, so I blew things up. How do we blow up? So assertion with equal. So this is drops without merging. Oh, we want to there's my test. Okay, without merging. Okay, yeah. And then we want to say game over false. Beautiful. And we're working fine. So we don't have full test there. You can go ahead and write a better test when you get back. But right now I want to get to LiveView because I know that some of the readers are going to be antsy. So the first thing that we have to do, we're going to go ahead and stop our server. And we're going to go ahead and update our dependency. So mix deps.update Tetris. No, Tetris. That's better. Okay, so I updated my Tetris. Remember, this is a path dependency, so so we should be updated now. And so let's see if we have some of the limitations. Some of the pieces are working here. So that is not working because my server hasn't started yet. Now it should be. Okay, so now we have a new block. We're dropping that down. Okay, so it looks like I'm not. So you can see this is dropping all the way to 36. So, so we're basically not integrating our drop mechanic yet. And so one of the things that we can do is double check to see if our dependencies have been picked up. And the way to do that is there's a directory here called deps. So I'm going to list all my dependencies, and you can see that one of my dependencies is, where's my path dependency? Okay, so I guess it's in the path, so that it doesn't build it. So I'm guessing that that's the way that things work. So I'm going to do ix-s mix, and I'm going to say Tetris dot drop, and so I'm also going to say Tetris dot. So what's one of the new things that we built is the full collapse. Yeah, and it's there. So we're picking up our dependency. which is great. So we're going to start the Phoenix server again. Oh no, the Phoenix server is starting over here. So we're going to edit this part out when we get there. So basically, when we said there's a way to check the dependencies, we're going to go back and we're going to edit that out, and to avoid further embarrassment. Okay, so let's check, make sure our dependency works. So I'm going to say IEX mix Tetris.bottom, and so let's see if our new function is there. Yes, it is. The full collapse is in there. So our dependency is updated. And now what remains is to actually plug this into our live view. So there's the Tetris. We're going to delete these things. What's going on here? There's a... Okay, yeah, so I'd accidentally deleted that, but it's going to be good to go. So the live view, the do move is the interesting one, is going to be the move down. So this is the one. So this is a turn, and this is a do move, and this is a drop. So this is the interesting one. And so we're going to say the old brick is equal to socket, and so what else are we going to need for that particular for the drop? So let's look at the Tetris, and we're going to look at the drop, and that takes a brick, a bottom, and a color. Recall that we're getting the color from here based on the function. So we're going to have to grab the color based on the brick. And so now I can basically call this color old brick. So now I have a color, and it's time to do the drop. So I could say Tetris.drop, and this is going to give me a map. So the Tetris drop is going to take a brick, a bottom, and a color. So we have a brick, we have a bottom, and we have a color right here. Yeah, and maybe we can open this up a little bit, kind of tidy that up. Bang, bang, bang. And we're aligned. So I like that. So now, and now what I have to do is assign the things in the socket that need assigning. So one of the things that I should probably do is when I do my mount, I need to basically have an additional state. Is it game over? Let's add a game over. And initially that's false. And so, or we could change this state right here. We're going to basically pattern match this and say if we have a state of state playing, I'm going to render this version, and if I have a game over state, I'm going to render this state. So my game is over, and then I'm going to debug with the assigns, and here my game is over also, and or my game is playing. So now let's get back to the drop implementation. So now we know that what we want to do with our state is, so the game state is this. It is if response dot game over do, and so this is going to be game over, else it is going to be playing. That's my original state. So right there is playing. In the new game, the state is playing. And so I'm going to do the assign right here. And I'm basically going to break this up because I want to pull these out of my response. So my response dot, what is it? Brick. And then the bottom. So we don't need to do that breakdown anymore, do we? So the response is response.bottom, and the score is response.score, and the game state is going to be state. And I bet I could drop this one line in without too much penalty. That doesn't, I don't hate that. I don't mind a one-line version of this code if I'm expressing one thought. And I'm still going to pipe this to show because I basically want it to, I want it to handle a game-ending state. And so that means that I need to convert this brick to the points, and that's so that's going to happen now. So now this should be a working live view if I've typed everything correctly, and chances are strong that I haven't. But I think that another thing that I'd like to do is go ahead and drop the bottom into here, right? Oh, these bottom jokes are killing me. Raw bottom, false bottom, all these other, these puns are, it's almost too much for me to cope with. Okay, so what we have here is I have a playing state, and I'm looking to make sure that I actually included in the game, in the new game. So this is a new block, and this is a new game. Yeah, the bottom is an empty list. So we do have something set. We ought to work there. So let's go ahead and see what's happening. So I have a bottom in place. So now I'm moving down, and you can see as it goes down, so this one right here is approaching 20. Okay, so I just hit a game over. I bet that it's because my, so when I assign my brick, I'm not assigning the correct brick. I'm not grabbing the new brick for the state. So let's see, let's make sure that I assigned it first in the live view, and if not, that I have to go spelunking into the Tetris, right? So we're going to look at the drop. So here's the old brick, and we assigned response.brick, and let's inspect that. Okay, so actually it wouldn't hurt to inspect this whole thing. So we're going to check this out when we hit the bottom. So now we have to reload this because we're not going to, because our game state isn't going to render right. Okay, so now I got a game over again, right? Because I got a collision with the bottom. And I got the collision with the bottom. Actually, did I get that before I did the merge? That would be interesting. So, yes, that would be interesting. So if any of them went down to 21 and I had a collision, then I would have trouble. So so what I have right now is this is the this is the we need to look at the response set that's coming back. Okay, so the response set that's coming back looks like this. This is the bottom. So we've merged in the brick appropriately. And now we have a brick that is shaped like this. And the location is at 40, 0. Right, because in our Tetris game, we set that up to be out of bounds a little bit. So maybe we need to move that, maybe we need to fix that initial setting for our Tetris brick. So let's go ahead and drop this, this Tetris brick in the right place. So to find that, let's find out where we're putting it. So we're actually putting a new brick at 3 minus 3. So let's go to actually block over here. So this is, so yeah, here's the Tetris and here is the brick. And the new random is, there it is, right? And so we want this to be 3 minus 3, and we're picking a minus, a negative number here, because we basically want the brick to be able to drop in from above the screen. So we're going to break out of here. We're going to change into Tetris, and we're going to do a mixed test. I'm going to break a few of these. No, I didn't. So that's because I moved things to a new location in my tests, which is great because that means that things will continue to work here. And so, but I am going to do a mix deps.update. Okay, it's a path dependency. I'm not sure if that matters or not, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So now I'm going to recompile. And now let's go ahead and drop our brick. Okay. Yeah, so basically we're doing everything. See how things are getting higher and higher? There's a collision. There's a collision. We're colliding with the bottom. We're not yet rendering the bottom, which is great. So let's look at our render function and see how we're managing that. And so adding the render for the bottom ought to be super easy. So we're doing the raw boxes and we're passing the tetromino. And then so all we need to do is raw boxes, and I'm going to pass the map.values for the bottom. And that should be it. Okay, so now let's try this. So I'm going to go down here. Yeah. Boom. It's great playing in slow motion, right? And there's one. And there's one. Yeah, so our mechanics are working exactly like we intend them to, which is wonderful. Okay, so I think that this is a good place to stop and take stock. In the last session, all we're going to do is, rather than pressing the key down, we're going to send an event, and the event is going to push things down. And as the event pushes, and as the timed event, it looks like I got a new row. I finished off a row. So as the event pushes things down, all we have to do is the work of I'm getting distracted by the game, aren't I? So all we have to do as the event pushes things down, all we have to do is replace, and here I have to replace the key down with some type of other event, right? So right now we're intercepting key down of arrow down. If I take this out, we're not going to drop down anymore, and I can just change the event to something that is generating a clock tick with just a gen server process. And then all we have to do is go from a new game state to a playing state to a game over state and render all of those. And we could even drop in the score. I guess we could drop in the score now. So let's do that. So I'm going to say H1, and I'm going to say close that up. Okay, so now I should have a score. Yep, and I'm not updating the score. We can change that easy enough. Right? Okay, and that's all good. So, so all we need to do is update the score as part of our drop. So let's go to drop. And here we're going to say basically socket score plus response.score. Let's see if that does it. There we go. Boom. That was key repeat. Don't get excited on me. And we are done. And so that's Tetris, the slow motion version. We're going to turn it into more of an arcade-like experience coming up shortly in the next edition. So stay tuned. The next one is the last coding session, and then I'll probably also record just a quick recap for the concepts we've learned and a quick recap of how to mechanically use everything. So I hope you've enjoyed this so far. Hang with us. There's one more to go.